What is up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 47 of Thinktwice, the magic and pop culture show hosted by me, Justin Parnell, and my co-host, Ali Antrazi.
And Maggie. May.
And Maggie. She may not be making a vocal appearance, but she is here in spirit and in physical form.
And if you guys are part of the Discord channel, you've seen plenty of Maggie May. Maggie May is my new dog, Doge, that I got recently. She's a wiener dog, and if you guys are in the Discord channel, because you have seen plenty of memes of her or pictures of her, or if you've seen,
I think they're just pictures. They're not memes.
There's pictures, not memes. Or you follow me on Twitter, you've seen some videos. And if you're Parnell, you've seen everything.
I have. Well, I'm not enough. I request images of Maggie frequently.
Yeah, she's great. She's doing great. So that was my past weekend, past week, past whatever. Been hanging out with Maggie.
Well, we're both preparing for a busy week ahead of us.
Yes, we're actually as some of you may know, we're actually recording this early.
Yes.
Justin has the SCG Con coming up.
SCG Con, that's right.
I'm leaving. Good.
Yeah, preparing a lot for. So I imagine when some of you listen to this, you will be at SCG Con, or maybe driving to SCG Con. Ollie will not be at SCG Con.
I will not. Fixing my light here. I will be at Bonnaroo, the festival. Mm-hmm. Working that festival. It kind of sucks because I really want to go to SCG Con. I've heard a lot of good things about it, like a lot of. So this is the first one. I'm qualified for the Invitational. I have the sweet standard deck that I think is the blue-black Miller
Mirari Conjecture?
Yeah, not Miller Summonings. Mirari Conjecture, but you sometimes win with Miller Summonings.
Yeah.
It's a really sweet deck, really powerful deck that I wish I could take and take to the Invitational. So it kind of sucks, but at the same time, like, I'm not going to Monterey to enjoy it either. I'm going to work, so it is what it is. Sometimes you got to work.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. That's kind of how it goes.
Yeah,
but like Ali said,
it's not sweet at all. It's just bitter.
Well, that depends. I mean,
I don't enjoy outdoor music stuff. So,
well, maybe you'll enjoy the bountiful purse.
Yes, yeah, there we go. The purse.
Well, that's
the purse.
Well, that's the whole reason. I mean, most people don't work just because they just work. They feel like they got to take up their time.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, but as Ali said, we are recording this earlier than we normally are. So, if anything happens for the next 4 days or next 3 days, so Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday in the world of anything, specifically Magic, we're not going to talk about it because it hasn't happened yet. So cut us some slack, because inevitably someone's going to be like, I can't believe you guys didn't talk about X thing that happened on Wednesday. Well, it's not Wednesday yet. So
not for us.
Chill out.
We are time travelers, or
we are.
Yeah.
Well, backwards.
Yeah. What's the opposite of a time traveler?
A normal person? Someone who is not a time traveler, so everyone else?
Huh. That's a good question. No, I think there's something. I think normal person is like the middle ground. I think time traveler would be like somebody like.
I don't know. I have no clue where you're going with this.
I don't know either, but
I don't. There's not like a. I don't think everything has to have an opposite. Anyway, because of that, we did have a question of the week last week. The poll is still going, but we wanted to give you guys. I think we know what's going to win this one. Yeah, the question of the week last week was, with full best of 3 standard coming to MTG Arena, would you rather play standard on MTG Arena or Magic Online? And right now the poll sits at 48% for MTG Arena and 30% for Magic Online. Ollie and I agree with that wholeheartedly. Obviously, if you guys listen to this podcast,
I agree with Arena. It's kind of crazy that I'm still shocked that there's 30% that would rather play standard on Magic Online. I feel like the 30% has to be maybe literally just for PTQs, I guess. I can't imagine a reason otherwise. Why?
I don't know. I'm going to my Twitter. Someone actually responded to this with a fairly decent reason. Let's see. I'm going through it. MTG offers competitive events for those players who might not get PPTQs near them, so it's better for me. Yeah, exactly like you said. So Magic Arena does not have that. I mean, pure and simple. If you're looking
not
for
right
the
now,
most,
but we're still in beta. Like we're literally still in beta. Like
no, but we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like, would you rather play 2 years in the future? I mean, we don't know.
No, we don't know, but I imagine it will be.
One of these might not exist 2 years in the future. You just never know.
This is true. A lot can happen in a year, let alone 2 years.
So, Ollie and I both completely agree with the fact that we would rather be playing Magic in Standard on Arena. Obviously, you guys, seems like a lot of you agree, but maybe not everybody.
Yeah.
So, since we have a Standard question of the week, I think it's only appropriate that we roll that directly into our first topic, which is a recap of the Standard Pro Tour Dominaria, which took place over the weekend. So Ollie and I are going to take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to talk about Standard. But before we go, we want to thank everyone who's listening on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher. Thank you guys so much. And if you could ever so kindly leave us a review on any of those platforms, or leave us a comment or a follow, then it helps increase our reach and allows more people to see the podcast. You guys have been doing a great job, but we're probably going to keep asking every week because the more the merrier.
Agreed. So
all right.
We did have like one. I noticed one or two new not comments, reviews. So thank you for that. Thank you. I don't know the names, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, we do appreciate. We legitimately appreciate that. That's something that helps us a lot. But as Ollie said, keep it coming. So we're going to go to PT Dominaria. We're going to take a quick break and return. PT Dominaria now in the books with Wyatt Darby taking it down in a top 8 filled with mono red. Now,
not even
a lot of them were called red black decks, but they're essentially mono red. There was only one true red black deck in the top 8, and that was the red black mid range deck. But outside of that, we essentially had 6 mono red decks in the top 8. Ollie, I know that is exactly what you're looking for in a Standard format.
Well, I will say that I was right about the blue-white question way back when. Blue-white did not at all dominate this Pro Tour.
You said last week on the podcast that you had turned around on that. You officially renounced your position.
Well, now I'm time traveling back to...
You said you were not time travelers. You said you were the opposite. You literally... How many times are you going to try to undo what you said on this podcast?
3.
Thank goodness we're recording, because I have all the proof in the world. Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Like, the thing is, like, you undersell it. You said the top 8 was filled with black red or mono red. It was more than... It was like top 32. There was so much red decks. So many red decks. So much Train Whirler. So depressing. The one... honestly, there was one Esther play in the top 8, and someone told me, hey, there's an Esther play in the top 8. I'm like, that's cool. I'm happy for him. But honestly, I wish it was all just mono red. At this point, I just wish it was all mono red.
Why? Why is that?
Just be like, to give more of a point of like, hey, let's depower creatures a little bit, or let's print better answers, or let's not make Hazoret type cards, like whatever, like, or basically just let's tone it down on the aggressiveness. Let's let people play more than 4 or 5 turns of Magic in Standard, because.
And you think because there was one copy of a non-red deck that you can't make that argument?
No, you definitely can. I feel like if it was, I feel like it would have been like the nail in the coffin, like just like, okay, there's no question about it. Like I just witnessed. It's like looking at a painting, and it's like all black or all red. And there's that one little spot of like hope or blue or whatever.
Hope?
It's like
that's not a color.
Well, that's what it was. Esper was the hope. If that one little white spot or blue spot, I wish it was just all red. Just make it all red, okay? No hope, no color, just mono red. That's what I want.
So I was actually able to watch a lot of this event. I love watching the Pro Tour. I don't know if I've missed a Pro Tour. At least one. I've watched at least like the top 8 of every Pro Tour, just about every Pro Tour for the last, long time. I think in my time, almost 20 years playing Magic, I think I've only missed a handful of top 8s in the Pro Tour, and I was actually able to watch all of Saturday and Sunday for this one. So it's fun to me, regardless of what's in the top 8, to watch basically like the highest stakes Magic, because there's so much history to the Pro Tour, and I felt like this one, despite the top 8 being overrun literally and figuratively by red creatures, the ending is still one of the greatest Pro Tour moments of all time. Period.
You mean the Judge Call ending?
Yeah. Do you think that's what I meant? Do you think that's what I meant?
Well, I'm just gonna tell you right now. Okay, so like I'm glad you feel that way, because when I heard about the top 8, I literally watched zero gameplay of the top 8. I just was like, you know what? It's not worth my time. I'm not gonna watch any of it. So this is good. This is good because we're on opposite sides. Like you loved it. You loved watching it no matter what, even if it was like the same deck or same type of decks, all back and forth. That's great. And I'm on the opposite spectrum. I was almost like demoralized. I was like, this isn't what Magic is to me. Like I don't want to watch this. So I didn't watch it. And then I heard about some judge thing at the very end.
But you didn't watch it, so you're literally just making a judgment on something you heard.
No, I'm making a judgment on the top 8 being all mono red. That judge call was a joke to your. Yeah. It was basically to like nudge you down a peg from you saying it was the best, or the watching it was great. Because I want to let you know, take it down a peg, because I hate.
Why are you taking me down a peg? Like you're taking down my enjoyment a peg. You don't want me to enjoy it. Like this has literally nothing to do with you. My enjoyment has nothing to do with you.
No, I don't want anyone to enjoy mono red. That's it. I don't want anybody to enjoy mono red. Period. And you're my friend.
Mono red. I Ollie, I literally stated despite that. Like not assuming, like if I'm taking away that fact, I'm just saying the ending. Look. Okay, let me. All right, I'm just gonna start over. I'm gonna paint the picture of the finals. Okay.
All right.
You have two players who played against two of the arguably best players in the world. Marcio Cavalli and Owen Turnwald both lost in the semifinals to people from their same countries, ironically from Portugal and the United States, respectively. So you have two people, one playing, I believe, in his first Pro Tour, and the other who is had previously made one Grand Prix top 8, but certainly not heralded Pro Tour competitors.
The winner, this was his second Pro Tour, right? So you're talking about?
It was his first or second, yeah.
It was the second one. I didn't read about it. It was the second one. It was his second Pro Tour playing. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes. So, and the American, Wyatt, gets up 2 games fairly quickly. And then Giancarlo comes back, wins the next one. Okay. Wyatt starts winning game 4, loses the next one. Then we go to game 5. It looks like the Giancarlo is going to pull off this amazing comeback. Down 2 games, back against the wall, literally can't make any single mistake. And then at the very, very end, Wyatt is literally at 1 life and has to have an exact sequence of cards to not lose. And then he has that sequence off the top of his deck with no cards in hand either time, has to draw a specific card into a specific card to win while he's at 1 life, and does it. Now, regardless of what happened with the judge call, because there was a complaint from his opponent about a missed trigger, I don't think you... First of all, it's the finals of Pro Tour. That's not how it's going to end. It's not going to end on a missed trigger. Especially one when everyone is caught up in the moment. Like, it also wasn't egregious. Anyway, I don't know, like, regardless of talking about the decks or not,
I can understand
think
that. It's
that's
like,
exciting.
It is. It's a pull. It's a pull. It's like not a 3-0 sweep. It's like a back and forth type pull. And I agree with you. Like that is exciting. Like I know what that feels like because I've been in similar shoes, but I feel like it's more like that feeling is great, but you can add to it when the decks are different.
I don't disagree, but that's
yeah.
I wasn't given that option.
No, I know. No, you're right.
I'm not going to not watch because I don't like the decks.
God, I'm not
going to ignore that part of history because it's going to happen regardless with or without me.
Listen, Parnell. I don't think anyone hates should say, hates mono red as much as me, besides Shaheen Sarani. Okay.
You're right, because you've top 8'd an Invitational with mono red, so Shaheen has to have hated it more.
Exactly, I did. It was Legacy, mind you, okay?
Well, I'm just saying.
And Legacy, I'm gonna be honest.
Burn's a combo deck. It's not an aggro deck. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, and honestly, like in Legacy, Burn is like a combo deck, or it's like a control deck if you're playing Steering Bridge, which is kind of weird. Yeah. But
I'm not trying to tangent, but you go ahead. I just want to put that on the listeners' radars that you have top 8'd a major event with mono red. God. So just know that everything Ollie's saying is, tainted. Anyway, continue.
Legacy. I've given up the flag or the thing of modern. You know what? That's the format people love. Okay, people love dying on turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, turn 6. Okay, you know what? You can have that. I don't want that to happen in the standard. Like, I wanted to go to like turn 10 minimum. Like, minimum. Like, I want to go long. Like, I want to play Magic. And I feel like this is arguably this has to be one of the fastest top 8s in history, right? Like, not the fastest. I imagine there's some kind of crazy memory jar, not awful, but crazy top 8. But like, this has to be like one of the quickest. I imagine anyway. But anyways,
no, I don't think it was. I think this was about average, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, regardless, I
can think of several that were quicker off the top of my head.
Okay. Regardless, I feel like let me voice my problem with mono red.
You have the floor.
I feel like it is the deck that stifles innovation and brewing when the deck is too good. I also believe that in order for players to outplay your opponent, like let's say for example for me and you were playing, right?
Sure.
For you to outplay me or me to outplay you, it needs time. We need time. Like, the longer the game goes, the more chance I have to basically outplay you, right?
Yeah, I mean, in theory.
In theory, or you to outplay me, vice versa, whatever. So someone to make. The longer the game goes, then the more chances the better player has to make a impact on the game, and the quote unquote worst player to make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Right. So and aggressive decks, especially mono red, stifles that, because mono red is not only aggressive, but it also has reach. And as a brewer, the decks I like to brew, I like blue green brews. I like dirtly brews. I like decks that kind of go over the top, and I just don't like it when the mono red deck's too good. And that being said, I don't think this one's too good, but
I don't either. But we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, it's just that's where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a place of blue green.
I think I might be able to articulate your reason
better,
maybe even a little bit better.
All right, thank you. Go for it.
You specifically, historically, as a Magic player, as long as I've known you, which is 10 years,
it's a long time.
It is a long time. Has been that your game plan in Magic, and not just whatever deck you're playing, but this is what you like to do, is you like to reach an apex in a game where you have extinguished your opponent's options, and you force them into a scenario that you're choosing. Usually it's by whittling down their resources or by invalidating their strategy. The issue is, with mono red, the way that you generally try to do that is by kind of accrued card advantage over the long term. Card advantage to you doesn't necessarily mean just drawing cards, but maybe in a permanent based way, like if you're ramping, because essentially, a lot of people don't think about it this way, but Rampart Growth draws you a card and actually puts it directly onto the battlefield. It doesn't just put it into your hand.
Yeah.
So this is something that you frequently like to do. However, mono red specifically, even more so than other decks, even more so than something like a black deck, which has discard as its reach, mono red actually wants to get rid of its hand and use its resources not as quickly as it can, but as efficiently as it can, which is what you encourage other decks to do, because you kind of like to say, okay, I want to use my left foot as a resource and push you to use as many of your resources to attempt to kill me before I can get out of reach. in most cases, with most aggressive decks, they're not able to do that because they don't have the specific type of reach that red has. But when you're faced up against a mono red deck or a largely red deck, your game plan, I don't want to say falls apart, but it's a lot more difficult to execute because your game plan for them and their game plan for you lines up, which is not what the decks that you play generally want to happen. And specifically, they printed a card that even encouraged that further with Hazoret.
Yeah.
That
there's a worse one.
And it says, hey, this is best when you have one or no cards in your hand, which is what you want them to do. But it's like, you know what? This is how I built my deck because this is the most powerful card in my deck. So now, that being said, I don't think that you think the chess match. Well, I don't want to say you think, but based on your argument, you're saying you want to play a game of Magic where you feel like you can outplay your opponent, which is respectable, especially in a tournament, because you want to say, this is where I've put my effort into my game to be able to do this when I'm playing against another player. However, I believe, and I think a lot of other, not everyone, but I know there's a number of people believe that chess match doesn't start when you shake hands before the game, but it starts in preparation for the tournament, in deck building, and choosing a deck.
Right.
And a lot of people have identified, especially for this event, that this is going to be a strategy that is going to allow me to accrue the largest advantage over the course of the tournament against the most opponents. This is extrapolated in Standard, because in Standard you have less options than in really any other format. This can be good when Standard is fairly even with the way that it's with the way that different decks are trying to attack the format. But recently, and I think this is kind of going to be headed to another thing you want to talk about, creatures have been pushed in such a way that it's so difficult to choose to play something that doesn't put the biggest creature into play and attack with it as quickly as you can, regardless if you're playing red, if you're playing green, if you're playing black. It literally doesn't matter, but creatures have become so powerful that it's difficult for anyone. If you're like, I want to get the most percentage points against the rest of the field, I need to play a really powerful creature, because the creatures are so much better than any of the answers, and they have been really for
a while.
Honestly, since like Jace the Mind Sculptor rotated out of Standard or was banned.
It's been for a long time.
Yeah, I mean that's like 7 years.
Like
I think 7, 8 years. So I think 7.
Because after that, it was like after Jace was like what, Thragtusk's time. Around? Yeah.
Shortly after.
Regardless, yes. Like we've had Titans, we've had Thragtusk era, we've had Curse Recruit Fix, we've had Angel of Serenity, we've like there's been
Pack Rat.
Yes.
It's all creatures. There's not been, and ironically, I think the thing that you and I thought that Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, was maybe inappropriately named because it seemed like that, going into this Pro Tour might have been like the scourge of Standard. But as it turned out, it was appropriately named because this might need to be the hero of Standard.
Yes, I mean he did work against the Scarab God. Like Teferi did work against the Scarab God. He put down that he put the Scarab God in his place, but the Scarab God
turned out to not really be the bad guy.
Yeah, apparently
surprisingly,
Red is still. It's crazy because, like you said, like real quick, let's go back on the topic of creatures being pushed. They are so pushed. Like in recent Standard, like playing a blue deck, if you're playing a non-creature spell to draw cards, you're doing it wrong. Like the way to accrue advantage in even your blue deck or your control deck is to play a creature, and it's so almost like frustrating. Like Gear Hulk gives you so much more card advantage than like even Pull from Tomorrow, because you get a 5/6 body, it blocks a creature, and you get to draw cards or counter spell or whatever. Like Gear Hulk is such a great finisher because it does so many things. It's a creature. Yeah. And then for blue black you have the Scarab God. That I don't know how to explain that one. Then you have Tireless Tracker, a creature that doesn't need to attack or block in order to gain card advantage, and that's just absurd to me. Like that should never exist in green.
The greatest combat trick of all time in blue is a creature.
Which one?
Snapcaster Mage.
Oh yes.
I mean, it just is. Now, obviously, you have to play that with instants and sorceries, but it does things that regular instants and sorceries can't do on their own.
And I find it just gross when like a control deck is playing against an aggressive deck, and then you see all of a sudden you see the aggressive deck. All right, I'm gonna draw some cards now. You're like, how's he doing that? Oh, it's just a 1-drop. It's a 1-drop called Boomerang Courier.
Yeah.
And that's just that.
Did you watch
say that?
Did you watch any of the top 8?
No, but I read a lot about it. I watched read articles and read tweets, and like one of the tweets I'm mentioning was some guy said, I tuned in to the Pro Tour top 8 to see what's going on. I saw a player draw 7 cards, and it was not the Esper player. It was the red player.
I think that was Saffron Olive.
Okay, yeah.
That said that.
Okay, and to me that's just like, why? Like, it makes me almost upset in a way. And I don't know why it makes me upset, but I think it's good because I don't like creatures being that powerful. And I'm not the person that wants like counterspells to be like dominant. I just want like non-creatures to do things like that are, or I want answers that like are as equal to the threats.
Yeah, I mean that's difficult to do because the crazy thing, we have one of the best answers in the history of Magic that's in standard right now.
Fatal Push?
Fatal Push.
Yeah.
And it's still not always good enough.
No. Yeah.
That's the crazy thing because the threats are so diverse because you're like, oh, Fatal Push. Obviously, in older formats, Fatal Push is a staple.
Yeah, because fetch lands.
No, not really not necessarily because of fetch lands, but the creatures are smaller
too, yeah.
And less resilient because they do what they're doing so quickly. But in standard, it's like, oh, Fatal Push. Okay, great. Oh, you have a Hazard. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you have a Rekindling Phoenix. Okay. Oh, you have a Scrap Heap Scrounger. All right. Oh, you have a Galta. Okay.
Oh, you have History.
Well, I guess I can't get any of these.
You have History Benalia.
Like, you have History Benalia. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just.
Yeah, which of course is not a creature, but all it does is make creatures.
Yeah,
so might as well be.
Yeah. Well, I'll say that. I'll actually mention that on Twitter too, where even the best non-creature spells in standard are creatures, like Heart of Kirin. It's not a creature spell. It's an artifact, but it is.
Fatal Push gets that. That's like the only thing. But it's like, yeah, I'll cleanly kill this.
But your best non-creature spells in standard are quote unquote creatures, like Heart of Kirin, History Benalia. It's still a creature.
Yeah.
Like, can I get us like, I don't know, give me something. Give me something that's like not a creature and actually not a creature and good.
Well, you have it.
Teferi.
The Hero of Dominaria. Yeah.
Teferi's really good.
So that leads to my next question. Where do you go from here? Where do you go from here in standard? Because you have a top 8 that's essentially all mono red decks. I imagine this is going to be going forward. A lot of people playing in RPTQs this weekend, where this is team, so you're almost certainly going to be seeing one mono red player. You're going to have people be playing in the Invitational, and then standard events going forward until the core set comes out. For the next month, this is going to be the de facto best deck, regardless if anything comes up to meet it. But how should we best do that?
Yeah. Well, real quick, on tangent, real quick on the team thing you said. I think the cookie cutter build is going to be black red aggro, just black red aggro, the best one, the best blue white control deck, and just mono green, because they were the top 3 represented decks of the Pro Tour, and they all.
There's no crossover.
Exactly.
Yeah. All 5 colors of Magic.
No crossover. Perfect. But I don't think Chain War, like, it's weird to me. Like, I'm gonna say this, and people are going to disagree with me. A lot of people are. I just don't, and I personally don't think Chain Whirler is the problem. Like, I think it's the Kaladesh cards. Like, I think it's like the Scrap Heap Scrounger, Heart of Kirin, Unlicensed Disintegration, which is absurd. Walking Ballista. I think it's those cards.
Bomac
Courier. Yes, I think it's those cards. Like, Chain Whirler guys, like, in my eyes, I'm like, Maybe it's because I'm seeing it from a control or mid-range perspective. You play Chain
You
Whirler.
are. You are because Chain Whirler says 3/3.
First strike.
When it enters the battle, it doesn't say first strike.
Does 1 damage to you.
It says 3/3 for 3. When it enters the battlefield, deal 1 damage to you.
Right. Maybe a planeswalker.
All right.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything. Like to me, I'm just like, as a control player, or as a mid-range player, or even a ramp player, I'm just like, thank God you're playing this thing instead of like a creature with haste.
I would say for a control deck, is that like the #1 card you want to see?
Against a red deck?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I'm gonna pull up Wyatt Darby's deck list here.
Yeah, I will too.
Bomat Courier, Soulscar Mage, Earthshaker Kenra, Curry Zev, On-Crop Crasher, Goblin Chain Whirler, Hazard the Fervent, Rekindling Phoenix.
I guess Soulscar Mage is like the one I don't really care about. No, actually, turn 1 Soulscar Mage is kind of scary. Like on curve, as far as on curve wise, Chain Whirler is a card I'm like, yes, thank God you have that card instead of like anything else.
Yeah, I would say that's like I would rather than play Chain. I mean, like if it's on turn 3, obviously rather than play Soulscar Mage, but
right.
Soulscar Mage obviously
1.
it costs 1, and you know that there's more premier threats, so you're like, is this the creature I need to use my removal spell on?
Yeah,
and it keeps like nicking away at you. Goblin Chain Whirler is a 3/3. So like, okay, this is sizable. I don't feel bad about using a removal spell on it.
Yeah.
So.
Good.
It kind of hits that perfect spot for control decks where it's like my answer is going to cost less than your creature, so I don't mind using a removal spell on it, and I can do so cleanly because everything in the entire world kills it.
Yes, absolutely. I was going to say, I think after this, I think control / mid-range decks are going to be good because I think the red-black decks are going to metagame against each other and start shaving on like Ursher Kenras and Boomot Couriers or whatever to play around Chain Whirler, or maybe even try to go bigger, be like, okay, I'm gonna go red white and play Lyra or history, like just like innovate against the aggressive deck. And it's like the more they do that, the better they position the mid range / control decks. And I think that's what's gonna happen. Like I think the black red decks are gonna become a little slower, so they can combat the red decks by going a little bigger. And by doing that, it's going to allow the control decks and the mid-range decks to be like, okay, you're slower now, so like I can just punish you too. Because the best way to beat these decks is to go a little bigger in the butt by not playing X1 creatures. So, like Soulscar Mage is excellent. We keep that one obviously, but like you just go a little bigger. I do like how people are playing Fight with Fire, though. We mentioned that a little while ago on the podcast.
Yeah, we did.
Like 4 episodes ago, maybe 3. And Fight with Fire is like there's 3 in the sideboard of the Wyatt's deck, and that's obviously kills Lyra. And then, like we said, if he gets settled, you can just deal him 10. So
he never brought those in because he didn't need to.
Yeah,
but
no red decks. Yeah.
He was clearly prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Had he played against a deck that had Baneslayer Angel or Settler Wreckage.
Oh yeah, I mean he had Treasure Map, he had Fight Fire, and Chandra Torch of Defiance. He was like, you want to
go big? I'll go big.
Yeah.
And all my lands come into play on tap, so I'm going to play everything on curve.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. He just went straight 24 mountains, nothing else.
Nothing fancy.
Nope.
They didn't even match.
Perfect.
Did not even match. He just did not care. He was just like,
these all the same things.
His litmus test for the lands he chose for his deck was, is this a mountain? Yes. I'll put it in.
Yeah.
Pick him off the sidewalk as he walked to the convention center.
All right, so one question I want to ask you before we head out.
Okay.
If tomorrow you had, let's say SG Con this weekend, I guess. What would you play in standard? What would you play in standard?
So I actually am answering this question because I am going to be playing in a standard event this weekend. I'm going to be playing in the Invitational. Yeah. I think I'm going to play an Esper deck.
Okay.
But I'm going to have some more creatures in it.
Okay.
Namely, Baneslayer Angel.
Lyra Dawnbringer, sure.
Yeah, Lyra Dawnbringer. Yeah, I keep calling it Baneslayer because it is Baneslayer, but Lyra Dawnbringer. So I've been playing the hashtag Raff It Up deck on MTG Arena.
Yeah.
that's blue-white, I have a incredible win percentage against mono red. Yeah. And they have really the only card that they do not have access to is Bomat Courier. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, obviously that does help, but
yeah, but they also have Roundup Ruins, so like
let me tell you, and I will trade Bomat Courier for Roundup Ruins in 1 second, because that's the card that I lose to the most frequently, because I don't have 4 Field Ruins for their 4 Romunop Ruins.
Honestly, for me, Frostodon is more scarier than.
Yeah, and they also have Ferociton, which says I can't gain life. So I've been playing that deck to some pretty fantastic success, and I think I'm just going to amend that for SCG Con. Just play solid removal, play Teferi, Lyra Dawnbringer, and I'm gonna try that. I might add black, retool it a little bit. The reason I don't have black is because I just don't have enough like on Arena. I don't have enough like wild cards to make a black deck work, because then at that point when you go beyond 2 colors you need so many rare wild cards for lands, and I just don't have those. So I think I'm gonna change it to be honestly a little bit lighter on the blue. But we'll see. I'm still going to work on it, but it's not going to be a mono red. It's going to be something that specifically targets that, but maybe has the black should allow it to have some more game against other control decks. So
I've been playing. I'd play blue like Mirari Victor. I've been playing that deck, and I honestly think I match up against the aggro deck, the red black deck, whatever. It's actually good. So I would play that deck.
And I've watched you play that deck. Yeah. I don't think I could operate it in the same way that you do. I think I am not patient enough.
Okay. But honestly, that deck's a good choice. I've convinced Joe Herrera to play at the SG Con. I think it's good. I think it's a very good deck. I think it's good against red black. So
that's good. Okay, I have one last question for you before we go. I know we've been going on a little bit, but obviously I'm sure you guys wanted to hear about our thoughts on the Pro Tour. Do you think anything's getting banned in Standard?
I don't think so. I think my reason being is because what you ban and like banning cards also looks bad, and we have a new set coming out around the corner.
Yeah, 1 month from now, not far.
What do you think? Which is crazy.
I think there's no shot.
Okay.
I think there's no way they ban anything.
No, and it can't all ban Chainwhirler because like that card just came out. It just came out. It just came out.
Well, not even that. Why are you banning that?
Yeah, I don't think
that's
so.
That's not a bannable card. No one read that card and was like,
"It's gonna be bad." Well,
there are some people that were like, "Wow, this card's really good."
Yeah, it wasn't me, but yes.
It's not. It wasn't either of us. I mean, we've looked dumb, but I still maintain.
I still don't understand it.
Honestly, I think this is a beatable strategy.
I too, absolutely. And I think like after Kaldheim rotates, Chainwhirler's gonna be a fine card, but not like what it is now.
I asked you last week, and we'll bring this back up again when we talk about Standard in a few months. Is Rampaging Frostodon too good if it doesn't have all of its friends? Especially when it's competing with Goblin Chainwhirler. What are you starting your red deck with 2 3-drops? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm way more scared of Frostodon than Chainwhirler. Yeah, I can't block that, and I can't gain life, and I can't play creatures. Like
yeah, Frostodon's. But anyway.
Yeah.
I also think no bannings. I don't even think. Not only do I not think there's not going to be bannings, I think that they're going to just. I don't even think this is a debate. Ollie and I actually, because we talked about our question the week before, and he was like, "How about discussing if we think there's going to be no bannings?" We're both like, "No, there's no shot." I was like, "We can't even have a discussion though. There's not a debate between us."
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Time to move on. Ollie, we've Battlebond is coming out the day this episode drops. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to review Battlebond in full. Battlebond drops today. If you're listening in real time.
Whatever.
Was it a whip? Battlebond whipping you?
I know it sounded like a whip the first time. I was trying to make it sound like a splash instead, but
a splash?
Yeah.
Are you splashing water with a whip?
No, I'm on the toilet and I hear splash.
That's what it sounds like. How do you? What do you like? Do you like have a ladder above the toilet? Anyway, Battlebond is dropping today, and we talked about Battlebond a few episodes ago, and we told you we'd circle back around. We felt like this was the best time to do it because obviously there's been so much going on in the world of Magic that we couldn't exactly fit it in, but we wanted to make sure that we did hit it because for me, this is a set that I'm very much looking forward to. I did not get to play in the preview events last week. In fact, I didn't even know that they existed until a handful of people in our Discord channel were like, "Hey, I played in this preview," and so I was like, "Wait, what? What are you talking about? I thought the set came out next week," and they're like, "Nope. There's a pre-release thing, a pre-release that wasn't a pre-release."
It's crazy because it's crazy because like we're on like opposite ends, and usually we had to force ourselves to be on opposite ends. Like you were excited about the Proto Top 8, I wasn't. You're excited.
I don't think we have to force ourselves. I just
not
agree
forced,
with
but like
out of kindness most of the time.
Okay. But here, like, Battlebond isn't exciting for me. Like I'm glad that the most exciting part for me was seeing the reprints. Like, okay, sweet, we get reprints for like for Legacy or Modern even or whatever. But as far as like actual playing it, it's for me. It's just like, gosh, guys, there's like a new set every week now. Like, there's so many sets. I'm like,
yeah.
Actually, you're the finance guy, right? So do you think this is like, are they making like, is it
too many sets?
It too many, or is it good enough? Like, I'm wondering.
So, all right. I wasn't prepared to talk about this, but I certainly can. Okay, so.
Sorry.
No, it's fine because this is a great topic. So, Battlebond comes out the same day as Commander Anthology, which comes out a week before Jay's Signature Spellbook, which comes out a week before Global Series Planeswalker decks, which comes out 2 weeks before the Core 19 pre-release, which comes out 3 weeks before Commander 2018 deck, which comes out. Yeah, you see my point?
It's just
anyway,
so much.
I'm going to focus on Battlebond.
Yeah.
Because, as you said previously, you're like, there's a lot of great reprints. There are a lot of great reprints in this set. In fact, how they set this up, it's a large set. It's 254 cards, although 5 of those are basic lands. Each color, not combination, got 2 brand new cards at Mythic Rare and then 1 reprint at Mythic Rare, except for Red. Red did not get a Mythic Rare reprint, which is good because traditionally in Master sets or reprint sets, that is like the worst card in the set. Is they're like, oh, here's this red Mythic Rare that everyone wants that no one wanted, so they just decided to not do it this time. There's a lot of excellent reprints, and conveniently they put like 1 in each color. Like I said, Trina Nemesis, Doubling Season, Nakara Revenant, Land Tax are all Mythic Rares. The one that replaced the red one was Mycosynth Lattice, which is also fantastic. And then they have great Commander cards, Diabolic Intent, Mystic Influence at Rare. There's a handful of other ones, but from a financial perspective, this set is actually like excellent. Not just from reprints, but there's a lot of like interesting new cards. And the thing you actually want to look for, especially when you're looking at sets from a long-term perspective, is how easy are these new cards to reprint? And if the answer is, well, this doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere else, that probably means these are going to be a good cards to hold on to. Partners, which is one of the main mechanics in this set, which we'd previously seen in a Commander set, which is a box set. This is a booster pack set. Those are not easy to be reprinted, even though it looks like you're like, okay, well, that was in Commander, so they could be in a future Commander set. Yes and no. I think it's pretty unlikely that that's going to happen. And you have a set specifically of partner Planeswalkers that I do not think are ever going to reprint it. I think this is the only set they're going to be in. So those plus all of the other partner cards and a lot of the other cards that are specific to this set, like the assist cards, while those have a chance to be reprinted in a Commander set in the future, like a lot of these cards, the new cards are going to maintain their value, and a lot of the old cards that they reprinted have really good price histories, which means not only were these cards valuable to begin with, because all the cards I just named were not only good cards, but expensive.
Yes.
And are still the most expensive cards in the set. Doubling Season was approaching $100.
Jesus.
Before. It's knocked back down, and we're in like the 50, 60 range, but I mean, that card was literally heading towards $100.
I still have Russian foil. Double season.
You should hold on to that.
Continue holding.
That's not going down. That one's not going.
Continue holding on to it.
Hold on to that indefinitely.
Yeah.
Until you need whatever money you can turn it into. Anyway, that's not even talking about the foils in this set. Foil Trinity Nemesis is very expensive. Not Russian foil Ravnica doubling season expensive, but needless to say, very expensive still, like well over $100. Mm-hmm. I'll break it down from a financial perspective in the easiest way I can. So I want to compare this to a master set. This is not a master set because this is specifically the thing that makes it the most different, regardless if there's new cards or old cards. But from a financial perspective is how much does this cost to open? Battlebond is a $4 a pack product. Masters 25, Iconic Masters, which are the two most recent ones, were $10 a pack product. Well, how does that compare total? If you add up all of, and I'm going to use Star City Games buy list because this is something that's publicly available to everyone that has a Star City Games account, so you can just add them all up yourself. At press time, or when we're recording now, the Battlebond buy list is $116 with that, and that adds up one of every copy of every card on the buy list. $116 for a $4 a pack product, which is the best that we've seen ever, maybe, as far as a release. If you take out Doubling Season, which is the most expensive card, that only knocks it down to $96. Now compare this to Masters 25. The total buy list on Masters 25 right now is $240. If you take out the most expensive card, which is Jace the Mind Sculptor, it's $190. You're like, well, obviously, $96 is not even half. It's a roughly half of 190, right?
Right, yeah. But then,
okay. Yeah. The issue is those packs cost $10 to open. These packs cost $2 to open. So if you times 96 by 2.5 times, the pack value is better. Ironically, Iconic Masters, it hits the exact same value as Masters 25. The full buy list for Iconic Masters, $222 if you minus Mana Drain, which is the most expensive card in the set, $190. Again, Battlebond holds up favorably to the two most recent Master sets.
It's crazy.
And a lot of people are saying, oh, well, this is because the sets come out when the buy list is at its highest. Yes and no. These are reprints. These are not... These are cards that are... The value is depressed right now because these cards literally just got reprinted. I promise, all of these cards I just said, especially something like Doubling Season, Doubling Season, Land Tax, Trinity Nemesis, Nakara Revenant, Mycosynth Lattice, all of these mythic reprints, this is the lowest these cards will be for the foreseeable future. And not only that, specifically, this is the price these cards will be at for exactly 4 weeks. Because as soon as Core Set comes out, Battlebond is going to stop getting opened, and all of these cards in this set, new cards, old cards, those prices are going to either stop trending downward and start trending upward, or strictly start trending upward because they're new cards and there's not as much circulation as there was. Not only that, but Dominaria is the most open set of all time. You're sandwiching this supplemental product between Dominaria, which is the most open set of all time, and a brand new set. So not only is it going to have juice taken away from the fact that a new set's coming out, but you just have the most popular set and the most open set of all time directly before this. This is great for Battlebond because Battlebond is a good set, but from a financial perspective, this is the cheapest all the cards will be. If you want them for Commander, for Cube, this is the time to get them because I'm serious. And I'm saying this as a financial expert, not as the acquisition manager of StarCityGames.com. I don't care where you buy them. Okay, if you're not going to buy them from us, that's fine. But I'm just saying, this is the cheapest. Well, a week after they come out will be the cheapest, so like next week, once the cards are in circulation. But by the time we get to Core Set, it's all uphill from there.
So you're saying with that paycheck to Bonnaroo, I should buy a couple boxes of the set? Or a case of the set?
Sealed product is interesting, because sealed product is basically... For sets that are good, and this is a good set, sealed product is pretty much, well, it's free investment, because sets that are good, especially ones that are a combination of reprints and new cards, in the way that this is, not in the way that like a core set is, where it's kind of reversed, where there's less new cards and more reprints. It's safe, but it takes a really long time. So like honestly, if you're going to spend this money to invest, don't you shouldn't be investing in Magic cards. And like first of all, I'm just saying, if you're a player and you're saying I want to get doubling seasons for my commander deck, or I want to get a play set of Trinity Nemesis for Legacy, this is the time to get them. Yeah. I honestly, I don't really encourage anyone to invest in Magic. I don't think it's a good investment. If you have money to actually invest, do something else. Invest in something else. Magic is not what you should be investing in. The market is too volatile. This is a whole different discussion, but if you're just looking at the price of this versus the price of previously printed sets, Masters 25, Iconic Masters, this holds up favorably and will only continue to get better as we get closer to the next release. Now let's talk about the cards. I don't want to talk about the money anymore.
Okay.
My favorite partner combination is Krav and Regna, which is the Angel and Demon combo. They're partners. They're pretty sweet. Krav's definitely going to be making it into my Mono Black Yeheni deck, along with my favorite card, Thrilling Encore, which we talked about last week.
Card's sweet.
Also, like what I'm calling the coin flippers, which is Yinder Split. Of doing my best to pronounce that one. It's the Oculus. Yeah. And Okun, Eye of Chaos. They're both coin flippy. They're both really sweet. I will imagine you will be seeing those on Commander Versus coming near you at a certain time. Assist is also a really great multiplayer mechanic for this set. That's like, especially if you're playing Commander and you're into like table politics, these are awesome.
Yeah, I actually like those cards a lot. All of his cards I actually really liked. Just looking at them was really sweet. My favorite card is still Arena Rector.
I thought your favorite card was the
favorite flavor.
Oh, favorite. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Arena Rector is sweet, which I'll let you continue.
Yeah, I just think it's a sweet card. It's like, it's obviously like the Rector is the one that gets enchantment or creature or whatever. This one gets a Planeswalker, and that's huge. Like this will only get better in time, obviously, but getting like something like Ugin the Spirit Dragon is a pretty big game.
Pretty sweet, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
The partners I don't like as much, surprisingly, are the two Planeswalkers. Mm-hmm. From my perspective, from a playing perspective, I think they're pretty bland. But obviously, it's cool that you can have Planeswalkers partners as your commanders. So I'm sure that a lot of people are going to be into that.
Yeah, and that speaks of Battlebond too. Like that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist anywhere else right now besides Battlebond.
No, and I doubt it will.
Yeah,
it's probably the only ones. A format that I was actually really looking forward to the set for was Cube, which we haven't talked a lot about on the show. But Cube is, with a gun to my head, Cube is my favorite format, even more so than Commander. And this set, it's unreasonable at this point, with 25 years into Magic, to ask for so many 10 to 15 cards for an average size cube. I think that's unreasonable, but you do have a lot of sweet options in this cube. Unfortunately, like a handful of them are mythic rares, but of new cards, Arena Rector, which depends on how your Planeswalker configuration in your cube is set up, could be really sweet. I think Planeswalkers can be a little oppressive for cube, but we'll talk. Yeah, we'll save that for a whole different segment. Spellseeker, that's my number one favorite card for cube in this entire set. That's the 1/1 for 3. That when it enters the battlefield, you search for an instant or sorcery that costs 2 or less.
I think the card would be sweet for Modern, actually. Maybe a little. I think it's actually fine for Modern.
It's probably fine. It's a 1/1 that costs 3.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Spellseeker, that's I don't like to say auto include, but that's probably the one that's going to make it into the most cubes.
Yeah.
I also really like Brightling, which is the white, Ling cycle.
Yeah.
And then I think it's Bramblewood Sovereign. Let me just Bramble Sovereign, which is a 4/4 for 4. And then when a creature enters the battlefield under anyone's control, yours or anybody else's, you can pay 1 and a green and have them put a copy of it into play. So obviously in Cube, you're just copying your creatures for the most part.
Yeah.
Unless, you know,
I'm curious.
You got some weird stuff going on.
I'm curious how on assist. So how would that work in Commander? Like, do you just go like clockwise and ask, or do you just like, hey, table? All right, I'm casting play of the game. We need to exile all permanents. Me and you, Justin. Obviously, our listener doesn't want to help because they have the most permanents, but we got to pay for this. Like, do you just like ask the table, or do you like go like actual like, person to your left and all the way back to you?
I'll tell you how we're gonna do it on Commander Versus. I'm gonna say I need to kill this creature. Who wants to help me do it? And how much can you help me?
Okay, yeah, I like that more. I like that more than like, because I personally don't like the let's go clockwise. You can help me. How much are you gonna pay? Blah blah blah. You know what? I want to slam this down. Look, I'm casting the spell.
I think that's how you should do it.
He wants the help. He wants the help. Yeah. Let's clear the board, or let's kill this creature.
Assist is great because like you can talk about it. It's just such a great politics card because you like a mechanic because you can talk about it. You can be like, yeah. When you get to that, I'll definitely help you. I'll definitely help you. And then someone's like, all right, I got it. I'm gonna do it. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna help at all. And it costs 8 mana.
Well, the thing is like I'm trying to put on a stack. Like, hey, I got 5 mana. I need someone to help me pay the extra 3. I'm tapping out. Can anyone help? Nah. All right. Well, I guess it goes back to my hand then. I guess there's something else.
Yeah.
So it's kind of. I think that's cool. I think that's fun. I love cards like that. Like, Assist is the second card that's
second mechanic.
Yeah, second mechanic that's like that for Commander. The first one was what's the first one called? Do you know? Do you remember?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
the first
assist mechanic in Commander. It's not assist, but like you can your opponents can like vote. I don't know. Anyway,
will the council.
Yes, I love cards
where it's like vote for this or this.
Yes,
and whichever one gets more votes wins.
Yeah, I love cards like that. Like that, basically, like in Commander, like hey, that takes the best aspect of Commander, which is a group play, and puts it on a card.
I agree.
I love that. I love that. So
yeah, no, I think it's great. I'm really looking forward to playing a lot of these cards, and there's even more. Like there's more cards for Commander we didn't even touch on, Najila, which is the 5-color warrior, which actually I have pretty strong feelings about. I don't think that card should exist, but it does. So a lot of people are going to be making a lot of sweet warrior decks around that. Going back on Cube for a moment, I just want to touch on these two. Stunning Reversal, which is the one of the black mythic rares that says is an instant says the next time you would lose the game this turn, instead you go to 1 and then draw 7.
Yes.
That is the best card for combo cubes in a long time.
It seems insane.
And you've played combo cubes.
Yes, I have.
So you can only imagine what kind of disgusting things this card is going to do.
Yes,
especially paired with like a Necropotence or a Yawgmoth's Bargain, where you can put yourself all the way down. All right, I'll pay this extra 1, draw a card. Okay, instead of going to 0, I'm going to go back to 1. I'm going to draw 7 more.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything that says draw 7 is going to be great.
Of course.
And then for common uncommon cubes, before you go on, Azra Oddsmaker and Inner Demon, I think are both really good. They're both uncommons. Mm-hmm. Those are 2 I would take a look at for that format. Okay, go ahead.
Last thing, yeah. I was going to say, like, I was talking about the mechanic of being able to... The Alliance? What was the card just called in this set? Assist, yes. Okay, the other one is Join Forces, is what I'm talking about. Join Forces is a mechanic where,
not the voting one. Yeah.
Yeah,
where
people can pay mana. Yeah, it's literally like, it's almost like there's one, it's like a dragon, I think, where when you get attacked, people can like put X-Man into it. It's like, okay, I'm attacking Parnell, he has the most permanents. Guys, let's fire breathe this dragon to like a 20 whatever, let's kill him.
Mana charge dragon, yeah.
Yeah. So like there's just cool cards like that, or like, the Mind Aglow type deal, or... I love those cards. Just seem fun to me, but
the political cards where you kind of get everybody involved.
Yes.
One way or the other. That's actually my favorite. One of my favorite things is I hate when people abstain, and I like to punch people when they do. I want people to make, like, when I'm playing Commander, and I'm like, all right, we need to kill this person. How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
The person that hasn't, like, that's tried to, like, specifically made no enemies or allies during the entire game.
They're doing
it's
purpose.
Like, I'm forcing you to choose. Yeah. You have to take a stand right now, and if you don't, you're going to get punished for it.
You're gonna
that's like my favorite thing, because I like to I like to be aggressive, not necessarily with like attacking, but I like to progress my game plan, whatever it is, and I'm always very wary of people that don't that try to stay out of everything.
Of course, yeah. It's like playing a game of werewolf. It's like
exactly.
There's a guy not talking. Why is he not talking? Mm-hmm. Okay, is he a werewolf or is he like what's he planning? All right, I'm gonna get you. Like, what are you doing? It's great. It adds that social game aspect to Commander when you play a card that involves everybody. So it's kind of cool.
For sure. And just the fact that these exist, like saying, like I think it's gonna be fun to say. Let's say like you're starting a game and play of the game is the eight mana sorcery that says exile all non-land permanents. Saying you're like, okay, I have like once someone starts getting out of hand, you're like, okay, I have play of the game in my deck. I need to know who's going to help me when it gets to it. Because honestly, it doesn't matter if you draw it or not. Just how people respond to that is valuable for the game that you're playing.
Yeah, it's also cool because like play the game. Like sometimes there's some guy playing a combo deck where he's like plays like 20 permanents. He's like, sorry guys, this is my deck. And you're like, guys, I play the game. I just need you to play 3 mana. You pay 3 mana. And we can
we're good to go.
He has no hand. We can get rid of everything. Let's do it.
Wipe him out.
Yeah, get rid of that Soul Ring. Get rid of that mana rock. Get rid of that other mana rock.
It's great. It's great. Great mechanic. Great cards. This is a great set for Commander. A very good set for Cube. A good set for reprints in general. So I do encourage you to check out Battlebond. Like I said, I'm not trying to sell you anything, but I don't know. It's there's probably some cards in here that you want if you listen to this podcast one way or another.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Anything else on Battlebond, Ollie, before we move on?
Nope. That's all I got.
All right. So normally we wait till the next section, but I want to throw up a spoiler warning as we move into Westworld because there is a lot of spoilers to talk about, and I'm just going to go full bore as soon as we get there.
All right.
So this is your warning. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. So that's your spoiler warning. Before we get into Westworld, we'll take a quick break, and when we return, more spoilers. All right, everyone, this is your last chance. Spoiler warning for Westworld. You're either in or you're out on this show. So if you're in and you haven't watched episodes 5, 6, and 7, you need to go do that before listening to this section. You have to. You cannot listen to this section if you are watching this show and you've not watched those episodes. We tried to give you time to catch up. Here we are. This is your last chance. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds, okay?
1, 2, 10.
10. Okay, that's it. I'll count to 10. All right, so Ollie, I'm gonna change it up a little bit from last time. Episode 44 is when we last talked about Westworld. Talked about episodes 5, 6, and 7. Rather than going down by episode, I'm gonna kind of go through the different storylines that are going with the different groups that we're following. Does that work?
You do that.
You sound like you're gonna like eat a sandwich.
Yeah, I'm eating a carrot actually. So go ahead.
I knew it. All right. So I'm going to start with Maeve, Hector, and Sizemore and their group. So when we last saw them, they had found their way into the beginnings of Shogun World. And as we start on their group in these set of episodes, they're fully in Shogun World. And they get immediately captured and brought to what is actually a feudal Japan version of Clearwater, which of course Maeve and Hector point out that they're like, we've seen all of this before. And Sizemore's like, we don't expect people to come to both parks. This is pretty much the exact same thing. This is just a more hardcore version of Westworld. So they meet their doppelgangers, which throws everybody off because they're very obvious that they're the same characters, just a Japanese version of their characters, which is actually pretty awesome to watch. Maeve figures out that she can kind of control hosts not with just her voice, but with her mind as well. Some stuff goes down, and they end up meeting the Shogun. And Shogun World is a lot more dangerous than Westworld is. Not just because it's designed that way, but we actually find out that the hosts have human insides, unlike in the other park where they're more machine oriented, but we literally see like multiple organs out and like hearts out over the course of these episodes. So that was really interesting. I don't even know what to make of it, but the group, as we said, meets the Shogun, have a confrontation when Maeve identifies that she can kind of control her host with her mind. They figure out how to go back to Westworld, try to get some of the Japanese hosts to go with them. Only one of them does, which is Armistead's doppelganger. Obviously, going back to look for Maeve's daughter. With Sizemore in tow, they go back. Maeve gets pointed in the direction to find her daughter. I'm going to pause on their story for a second because it's all going to converge. So, in the meantime, Dolores, who has just saw, remembers that Teddy didn't kill one of the people that she told to kill, gets really comfortable with him and actually like seduces him, which is something that obviously Teddy's wanted for a long time because he feels a strong attraction to Dolores. But then immediately after that, Dolores goes and gets one of the group of the actual humans, the operators, and gets them to change Teddy's way of thinking, so to speak, and turns him into a murder machine. So Teddy is now all business, all murder, all the time.
Yeah. So much for free will.
Dolores' group actually goes back onto the train, which they all get off of to go into Clearwater, but they're going back to the Mesa. In the meantime, Charlotte and Stubbs obviously have Peter Abernathy, which is what Dolores is after, at the Mesa and staple him to a table as they're getting ready to operate on him to take all of the stuff that's in his brain that they want to get out to do whatever they want to do with it, which we do find out later. Now, of course, before they can do that, Dolores shows up. Again, we're going to pause and we'll get to that later. Elsie and Bernard. Bernard's still shaken from seeing all these visions and not exactly being sure where he is. Remembers specifically that he's taken one of those little orbs that go inside the host's head. Pop in his pocket. So they go. They're in the Mesa, and they notice that the system is malfunctioning. And to be able to get anywhere or kind of identify where the hosts are, they feel like they need to go to the cradle, which actually has the backup to all of the hosts' memories and their programming and their ability to be reprogrammed. So Bernard, Elsie's like, oh, only old hosts can link up to this machine that can like basically debug the machine. So Bernard's like, I'm old. Oh, I can do it. So he goes, they pop his head open, and his little ball comes out, because he's a host, and it plops in, and so of course when it does, he goes into the cradle, which is essentially what he sees as a simulation of Westworld. And who does he meet? But old Anthony Hopkins, Robert Ford himself, which is super exciting because, man, Anthony Hopkins is great.
Great character, yeah.
He's so fantastic.
Yeah.
And the best part of all of this is it confirmed my theory that I said the last time that we talked in episode 44, that Westworld has been gathering human DNA in an attempt to extend life, just like they were doing
to
James Dellis, attempting to do in James Dellis. Ford goes on as he's explaining this to Bernard, which Bernard figures out during their conversation, because this is essentially all in Bernard's head, head, I'm using air quotes, all in Bernard's consciousness, should we say. And Ford explains, he's like, well, I'm not actually a real thing. See, my consciousness is just here, but now that you're here, I'm going to jump into your consciousness too. So you're kind of going to take me with you, which is really dangerous because we know Ford is a little unhinged and has some grand plans that usually don't work out well for human beings. So he pops back out, and of course, Elsie's like, what happened? He's like, nothing happened, which is what he says every time, usually when he's having visions of like murdering people. And then he goes around, and in the meantime, what has happened is,
it's like, ask your girlfriend, are you okay? She's I'm fine.
I'm fine. Yeah, that's
equivalent.
Bernardold.
Yeah,
because he's Arnold. Bernardold.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, Dolores has gone back and found Peter Abernathy, and of course, Dolores and her murder machine Teddy are in tow, encounter Charlotte and Stubbs, and almost kills both of them before they realize that the rest of the Delos defense team has kind of come back into their area, and they need to go handle that. And Dolores' plan is to destroy the cradle to be free from all of whatever is happening, so they basically don't have any backups, and they're more human by nature because they're more fragile, which is kind of an interesting way to look at it, but it is true because they can't be controlled because there's nothing to base them off of.
Or replace, basically, yeah.
Or replace, exactly. It kind of gives them one life to live rather than repeated lives.
Yeah.
So Bernard has exited the cradle. Elsie goes elsewhere to die another day, not today. And ultimately the cradle gets blown up. Now, before this happens, Maeve does find her daughter. And her daughter, unfortunately, of course, in the narrative that they've built, has a new mom. But Ghost Nation shows up, terrorizes the mom. Maeve runs with the daughter, goes into the house that they had when Maeve was her daughter's mom, and of course has the flashback of the Man in Black coming and terrorizing them as William, the Man in Black, is coming, and really not to terrorize anyone, it's actually looking for a safe place to stay. But of course Maeve, who does not care about anyone or anything but her daughter, essentially, freaks out and just starts shooting him. Almost kills him. He looks virtually dead. Turns Lawrence on him. Lawrence,
which is crazy. Yeah, Lawrence,
Man in Black's best buddy.
Yeah. She basically used her mind control powers to turn around to shoot him. Lawrence seemed almost like immune to it, but then she like showed him.
It was like, open your mind.
Yeah.
I can see that you're already free, because Lawrence had previously accessed some of his previous memories.
Yeah.
Which we noted last time, but because of that, he was kind of crossed between making his own decision to access some memories, but also not access some memories, which is actually very human of him, which is really interesting to point out. So she's like, look back and look at him, make eye contact with him, and then think about what he's done. So then, of course, Lawrence thinks about it and all the times that the Man in Black has essentially killed him or
his
murdered
wife,
his family.
Yeah.
Exactly. And starts to just unload a clip on him.
Yeah.
Delos' support team comes in, kills everyone that's left, including Lawrence and Maeve. Almost Maeve. Maeve barely makes it because Sizemore is there, but she's mortally or hostily wounded.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
And that's when they get back. Dolores is leaving the Mesa because she's done her job. She's destroyed the cradle. And to be continued. We don't exactly know where it goes from there. Now, the only other thing I want to point out is the beginning of episode 6, Dolores and Bernard are having the exact same conversation that the Man in Black at various points had with James Delos when he was trying to establish his consciousness within a host. Dolores is actually playing the William role, and Bernard is playing the James Delos role, because it's not Bernard, it's Arnold's consciousness, essentially, that is in there, just like James Delos' consciousness was in his host's body.
Yeah.
So, which one came first is the question. Not that it matters, because we know that Ford was behind all of it for the purpose of trying to offer this to people as a way of extended life. In present time, last thing, Charlotte and the Extraction team, again, this is, obviously Westworld is really funky with timeline. Charlotte and the Extraction team are able to find the Robert Ford little hidden lair where Bernard ended up smashing Teresa's head against the wall when he found out, or when it was revealed to him for the first time, that he was a host. And they go deeper into the lab, find a hidden section, and then find about a dozen extra Bernards. And then they find out, which includes Charlotte and Stubbs, that Bernard is, without a doubt, not a real person and is a host. That's all we got for the story for the last 3 episodes. I don't think I missed anything. Ollie, I'll let you talk. I need to sip on this water.
Oh, you're fine. Actually, I'm bad with names. The person that is interrogating Arnold at the end. Who is that? Who is it? What's her name?
Charlotte?
Yes. God, I don't like her. I don't like her.
Oh, I like her.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Man,
there's very few characters I don't like in this show.
No, my favorite character I think is Maeve.
Maeve's fantastic.
Oh yeah, by a mile. I don't know what kind of quote unquote powers she's getting by being able to like manipulate other hosts and make them basically mind control.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've been waiting for a confrontation between Maeve and Dolores because I feel like they're kind of like not opposite ends, but I feel like they have like different plans almost. And I kind of want to see like I was excited to see like their confrontation again. It kind of sucked that it was basically when Maeve was
practically
out.
Dead on her deathbed.
Yeah, and Dolores was like, oh my god, when Dolores was almost about to kill her, or I thought she was going to kill her. I was like, oh my god, please don't do this. Please don't pull a Game of Thrones.
No, she was asking her if she wanted to.
Right, but I thought it was gonna be like I'm asking you and to try to basically manipulate you to feel like that you're doing it. Like
no, I don't think so. I think
that's where I took it originally.
I think that Maeve and Dolores have a very healthy respect for each other.
Okay, well that's
even though they are not necessarily, they don't have the same goals. They both understand that they are more enlightened, and ultimately have the same macro goal, which is kind of have full control and consciousness over themselves, but their goal beyond that is to do very different things. Maeve kind of wants to live her own life with her daughter. Dolores wants to watch the world burn. The human world.
Yeah, the human world burn, yeah.
So she respects Maeve because she actually came up and she says, I hate to see you in this state because I know that you're a survivor.
Yeah. Yeah, previously when we talked about this the first time, I was like, I'm not excited not excited for Westworld because it was basically a different show in season 1 than is now, and these last 3 episodes have definitely gotten me back into it for sure. Like,
oh yeah,
this is where I was like on it. Now I'm like all in. Like now I want to see the rest. I'm so curious. Like I'm just wondering how it's gonna like, especially the reintroduction of the Silence Lambs character. I'm so Jason Ford.
Yes.
The reintroduction of Ford has definitely like extra sparked my interest and my intrigue, and
I don't know how involved he's going to be because he now he's in Bernard's consciousness.
Right, but
he's imprinted himself on Bernard's consciousness.
Yeah, and I wonder like because at the end there he like takes control of Bernard. He's like, okay, I know you can't do this. I know like you'll like hurt your conscience. So
yeah,
take it easy.
Yeah, I'll do it. I got it.
Yeah, blacks out and like he just goes ham. So
picks up the machine gun. Now it's really interesting because we know that at the very end or in the present time when Bernard is with Charlotte and
is that present
Stubbs,
or the past?
That's the most present.
Okay.
That's the most present time because we know this is after this massacre of all of these hosts and humans because this is the extraction team.
Okay.
And we've seen Teddy dead multiple times, so we know Teddy dies somewhere along the way.
Man, I know. See, I missed that. Like
they've shown it multiple times.
Well, all right, Mr. Brainiac. Like
they showed it in the very first episode. We even talked about it. I haven't brought it up.
I still missed it. I don't know.
Okay, and they showed him dead in one of these episodes too.
There's so much going on. It's just
they don't like. Well, that's what I love about this show. They're not like other than the, hey, this is the plan that Delos is trying to do is extract human DNA for the purpose of extending life into hosts. Yeah. Which again, I'm gonna pat myself on the back because when I said that last time, I thought this was obvious. And like, because we recorded the podcast like a day after I watched that, like the last episode.
Yeah.
And I'm like reading online and on like Reddit and like other websites, and I'm like, wait, is no one else thinks this?
Yeah.
Like this was like I didn't see anyone else say this theory, and I was like, I thought they were like serving this up to us on a platter.
No, you nailed it. You definitely nailed it.
Yeah, I even said that like before we watched these episodes. Like I was talking to my girlfriend Meredith, and I was telling her, and she was like, "I don't know," and I was like, "Are you what?" I was like, "This seems like this is so obvious."
Yeah, I
And then
think
literally
you were
when they,
just so into that you are catching every detail. I think it's
oh yeah,
awesome. Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, this is like my favorite show on TV easily. I
Yeah,
don't think it's close.
you are just yeah. If this was a game of Magic, you'd be destroying me.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, it's just a TV show, so I'm not. Uh, it's this show is great. It's so good because it's like rewatchable too. Is the best part for me. So
Well, I love actually coming back to this because you're explaining. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, it's like yeah, all right. So like you're explaining the episodes, and I'm like, actually, I know I'm part of the podcast, but
yeah, you're like,
in
let
that
me
one
just
moment,
sit back and
I'm a
listen.
listener. Yeah, I'm just listening. I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, this is cool. All
that's
right.
okay.
He's basically like taking apart every like the Rubik's cube and putting it back together basically. And it's just like, okay, it's cool. All right, now I get it. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's just oh my god, there's so many little things. There's so many little like visual
Yeah.
clues or auditory clues that don't connect. That was what I was saying. My favorite part about this show is they don't hold your hand. Like they're gonna let you if you kind of want to wander around in each of the scenes and pay attention to something different than the thing that's like right in front of you.
Yeah.
That's totally fine, and you're probably going to be rewarded for it. Like you're going to figure out something sooner than other people because you're looking at something else. Like I don't know
Dude,
why.
I missed human insight. I missed human insights until you said something.
And that was the thing I was going to say. Why is that important? But it's like it was like in multiple spots. Like you watch past a guy and his intestines have been like pulled out of his stomach. But I mean, when Akane cut Sakura's heart out
Yes.
in Westworld, the hosts don't have hearts.
No. I was wondering what she took when she did that. I still didn't know.
Like her heart.
I was like, is that a
Yeah,
hand? Like, what'd she take?
it's her heart.
Yeah, or to,
But
I thought it was a brain or something. Like maybe to upload it somewhere else.
yeah.
So it's crazy.
I mean, I think the most obvious thing is they're battling with sharp objects rather than guns
Yeah.
because it's pretty much all guns in Westworld. So limbs are going to get chopped off, people are going to get sliced open. So you could say, oh, this is just an effort to make Shogun World more realistic, but I don't buy that. There's something else. We just don't know enough. We just don't know enough yet, and I want to know.
Maybe Shogun was like a step further into the transferring the whatever the human consciousness
It could be the next. It could be maybe the host used for Shogun World are the next logical step.
It makes sense, anyways.
In making them as human as they possibly can be, and honestly, like that could be it.
Yeah.
So far, what we know is that everything has been an experiment. They haven't pulled off exactly what they want to do because the reason that Ford didn't try is he was basically like, it's not ready. Like my consciousness wouldn't be able to accept it.
Yeah.
I know too much, so I couldn't. I would know that I'm a host. I'd be too self-aware, so it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But he was like, yeah, this is of course because when Bernard was like, wait, you're not watching the hosts. You're using the host to distract the people to take their DNA.
Yeah,
and collect
and their
information on
reaction.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which, like I said, made sense to me. But
Also, I can't believe Dolores is like so like pro free will. You do what you want, and then she like just literally not wipes it, but yeah, changes.
Yeah, completely changes his personality.
Yeah, like how's that? What are you doing? Like you were all for like.
She believes in the greater good, and she's
very.
She is, yeah. She's very Thanos-like.
Yeah.
For those of you that followed like our Infinity War discussion.
So she walks out with that thing in her hand where I assume she just killed her father and got his thing out of his brain.
Without a doubt, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And we still know what that is. We know it's like a.
No, that's all the human DNA that they've collected. All the information on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
we
all
do.
in there.
We do. Well, we do know what that is.
Okay.
And we know that she obviously loves her father, and that's like the first thing that has like moved her emotionally. But again, the end justifies the means. So Dad's got to die if I'm gonna win this war.
Well, he was also on her side, which I think even pushed her even further to like, okay, I'm definitely right. When your dad's like,
yeah,
like it's not like the Star Wars battle where it's like dad and son are against each other. One has to go. Like this is like literally I'm on your side. Kill me. Like what?
Yeah, I'll go in peace, and she's like, all right, just chop that head off.
Yeah, yeah, crazy stuff. Definitely crazy stuff.
And now we're kind of, I think we're going to be approaching territory of who else is a host.
Okay.
I don't know that there's many people, but I don't think it's just Bernard.
Okay. I'm curious on how far Maeve's going to evolve, or
Yeah, because Maeve, this is not the end of Maeve.
yeah, I imagine she'll go
There's
further.
no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I hope Elsie makes it out of the season.
I like Elsie.
That's who I'm rooting for. I don't.
She seems like she's like so innocent and so like pure. I feel like she's just gonna get like tricked and just killed. Because of like she's not stupid by any means, but she's like very like she's a person that would give someone a second chance that does not deserve a second chance.
I mean, I'll tell you who's gonna kill her. It's
Bernard.
It's
again.
No. The head of the extraction team, the bald guy, the tall bald guy.
Okay.
Because she said a few episodes ago, and this is one of the like small auditory things, when Bernard told her that he was a host, she's like, "That's good. I trust the code more than I trust people."
Yeah.
So she's going to trust that guy at some point, and then he's going to kill her. That's
right on the wall for you.
I can see this one. I feel like I can see this one coming. I mean, I hope it's not the case. I hope she makes it out, but. Of all the people, it's either that or she trusts Charlotte.
Okay, so what's the next step? What's the next step for Dolores? Do you know? Where's she going from here?
She's going to the... Oh my gosh. I'm blanking on the name. She's going back into Westworld and is going to the...
Oasis or the Valley?
The Valley Beyond.
Valley Beyond, okay.
I think is what it is. Yeah, let me double check.
No, you're right. It is called Valley Beyond. And also the Men in Black.
Valley Beyond? Okay, great.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Men in Black, what's he going to do?
He's going to try to figure out how to not
live?
Die.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe his daughter will find him.
I think his daughter's going to find him. His daughter, Emily, is out there somewhere because he kind of tricked her. She's not a huge part of these episodes, but she kind of proves herself that she's as resilient and tricky as he is. So no doubt they're gonna team up and.
He thinks he's a host at first, he thinks she's a host. Yeah, at first she's like, "You're a host, right?" He thinks everyone's Ford. All right, Ford.
Yeah. He's literally been like, yeah. I mean,
all in on this game.
Well, Ford's in his head, and he knew that would be the case.
Yeah.
He knew he just had to plant the seed, and that William would just do it by himself, because obviously. And this was kind of the confirmation is they were obviously close to a degree because they were both part of the plan for the furthering of human life in host form, human consciousness in host form.
Yeah.
Because obviously he was the one that was doing the fidelity test on James Delos, and Ford was the one that did it initially with Arnold, who I believe was the first one. So it's really interesting. I think we are kind of we're going to converge on, we had to converge, episode 7 converged virtually all of these storylines, and I think we're going to kind of circle back around and then converge at the end of the season in the Valley Beyond with, well, we kind of know what happens. We know a lot of those hosts die, but then what happens? Because that was in the present time, the time where they just pulled back the curtain and saw a dozen Bernards.
Yeah.
Bernarnolds.
Yeah.
Bernarnolds. The Valley Beyond is where all of those hosts were dead.
Okay.
And Bernard said that he did it in the very beginning.
Yeah, we don't know if he said it like he did this as in like not like actually killed them physically, killed them. Maybe he like killed them in a different way.
I don't know. I know that's where we are headed. But Dolores was not among them, so what happens to Dolores? Is she gone? I don't know.
We'll see.
Yep. So that's where we're headed. We're gonna have for our Westworld discussion, we're gonna have one more episode where we wrap up episode 8, 9, and 10. So catch up. Make sure you're there for that discussion. That is going to be 3 episodes from now, so episode 48, 49, 50. Episode 50, we're going to be having that discussion. Let me just double check. In case, for some reason, you guys only want to watch it, only want to listen to a few episodes, episode 50. But you should watch all the ones in between then.
Yeah.
Ollie, anything else on Westworld? We spent a lot of time.
No, that's it.
All right, cool. In that case, we are going to jump out for a moment, and when we return, question of the week.
Question of the week.
There we go. Ollie, question of the week this week. As you believe, and I think the most people believe, recently there's been a lot of visibly bad standard Pro Tours.
Yes.
Where a singular strategy or deck kind of takes the forefront and dominates everything else.
Yeah.
Because of that, do you believe that going forward, there's going to be more non-standard Pro Tours?
I believe there will be. I think, like you said, the past couple standards have just been... I mean, it's always fun watching the best players competing, no matter what. But Modern Pro Tour was so loved, and it wasn't destroyed like the Eldrazi one was. There were a bunch of different decks, a bunch of fun moments. There were a couple of brews, and people loved it. People loved the modern Pro Tour.
Yeah. People love modern.
Yeah, I agree. The top 8 was like varied. I think going forward, they will add more modern somewhere. Like right now, it's like 1, maybe like maybe it'll be 3 in 2 years or whatever. But I think giving way to more modern Pro Tours instead of just all standard is the way to go going forward. And I think that will happen. I just feel like standard is so easy, it can fall into the trap easily of like becoming stale or one deck being like way too good, or where modern that can't happen really. It's almost hard to happen.
The easiest format to solve. There's less cards.
Yeah, and also Legacy Legacy is just too much of a. You can't make an approach format because the reserve list. That's basically the truth.
Yeah. Without a doubt, I completely agree.
It's a sweet format became
modern's the most popular format. I don't think there's any.
I think it's more popular
format.
I think it's more popular because of reserve list. Honestly, I think if it wasn't the reserve list, would have more vintage and more Legacy. That's just the truth.
Oh yeah.
No,
anyways, I don't disagree with that at all. I don't think it's more popular because of the reserve list, but I think that is an inherent reason for its popularity.
Yeah. So I say yes.
I'm gonna say no. Standard, while it's been in a rough spot, I think is moving in the right direction. Because as you said earlier, all the cards that are really the issues are from Kaladesh and Amonkhet. There's not as many cards from Ixalan and Dominaria that have been issues, really. Obviously, Goblin Chain Whirler was the most played card in the Pro Tour, but in and of itself, that card's not an issue. If you take out all the red cards, no one cares about Goblin Chain. It's still a thing you have to realize exists, but
yeah, the only card I guess Limber Elf's the only card that actually cares about it. That's almost it. I mean, X1. Actually, X1's cared about it. All X1s do.
Every creature that would die to it. I believe the answer is no. I think this year we're going to have the most non-standard Pro Tours that we've had in a long time, and that's going to be because we had a modern Pro Tour, and because we're going to have a team Pro Tour. But I'm not 100% sure if that's going to keep moving forward. Having Legacy at the Pro Tour for the first time is cool, but I think it's unsustainable for the exact reasons that you said. And at the end of the day, Standard is the format that they can attach the name of their most recent product to. And at the end of the day, that's what they're trying to sell you. They're trying to sell you Dominaria. They're trying to sell you Corsair. They're trying to sell you Rivals of Ixalan. And Standard ultimately, from a grassroots level, from a store level, is still the most played format. Surprisingly.
Fair enough.
And I think that's going to be what's continued because from a marketing perspective, it makes most sense. They want to say, these are cards you can go out to your local store, to Walmart, to Target. You can buy these cards off the shelves, and that's what they're trying to get you to do.
regardless of how healthy or unhealthy the format is.
Just play Chain Whirler Modern.
I don't like it. I just think this is the reality. I mean, if I would change a lot.
Yeah.
But, this is kind of where we are. We're in the marketing machine of Wizards. And from their perspective, it makes sense. Unless you can get rid of the reserve list, which changes everything in the entire world of Magic. This is kind of where we are, where Standard is what you're pushing.
All right.
It's more so than these modern products.
Got it.
Okay. All right. Ollie, where can people find you?
Twitter.com/OllieEldrazi, Twitch.com/OllieEldrazi. Gathering Magic article come out every Friday. This week I'm just talking about decks that are good against red black. So if you want to check that out, don't want to play red black or mono red.
If you're playing standard, you will want to check it out.
Yes, check that out. That's it for me. What about you, Parnell?
Right. You can find me on Twitter too, @jparnell1 on Twitter. You can also find me on YouTube and StarCityGames.com. I'm the host of the Commander Versus series every Wednesday, 11 a.m. We're winding down the season, but we still got a couple left in us. You can also find the show on Twitter, Thinktwice MTG, and if you want to email the show directly, thinktwicemtg@gmail.com. You can also find the show on SoundCloud, just single SoundCloud, there's only one. SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher. We'd love for you to leave a review if you're able. It doesn't take too much of your time, and it helps us out a whole lot. If you're interested in supporting the show beyond just leaving a review, you can go to patreon.com/thinktwicemtg or watch us streaming once or twice a week on twitch.tv/thinktwicemtg. For Patreon, we have a lot of awesome reward tiers starting at $1, which actually grants you early access to the show and our multiple Discord channels that we have, which have actually been a lot of fun. I know we say that every week, but legitimately, I've really enjoyed us. The more people that go, that add on at that tier, it has been even more fun to do.
More people.
Especially
more
like when people were like posting all their Battlebond stuff over last weekend. That was really sweet. I found out stuff I didn't know, which was that you could actually go to a Battlebond.
I'm seeing all of us listeners' animals or pets.
I've enjoyed that too.
I enjoyed that.
I don't remember. Let me see. Let me pull it up. Hold on. Here we go. It's in the non-magic animal lovers. I want to give a shout out to a specific pet.
All of them. They're all great.
I want to give a shout out to Bobby the Rat.
Okay.
That's S Neil's on on Discord. Bobby's his rat. Big fan of Bobby. I think rats are great. Rats are great pets.
Yeah, there's also snakes. Zebra has a snake. And then there's also
lots of great pets. Lots of Maggie. If you're interested in Maggie, you definitely want to get on that Discord. But we have a lot of other great tiers that you can get playmats, tokens, commander decks from me, brews from Ali. We have our own separate. I have a commander journal. You have a brew book where we post deck lists in on a weekly basis. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I actually posted an update list to Blue Black Conjecture deck today. So
awesome, cool. Excellent. So a few days ago in real world time
Monday.
for everybody listening.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
right. That is the show for this week, guys. We want to give a shout out to Amber West. AmberWestDesign.com is where you can find all of her work. We of course want to give a shout out to who is he? Director Che, I guess. He's our director and producer.
And Director Maggie.
He'll listen to this. He does his thing every week, but he does a good job. So we'll keep him around.
All right, that's fair.
That's fair. Okay. We also, of course, want to thank our Agent of Bolus producers, Daniel Hunt, Matt Lindell, and our new Agent of Bolus producer, Liam Willen.
Welcome, Liam.
Welcome, Liam. Liam Willen, I believe is how you pronounce it. If it's not, you're more than welcome to correct me.
Do it.
You certainly have an open line to do so. We're going to be. I double checked and I was like, "Does this come out now?" We're actually talking about. Is this right? Yeah, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom next week.
crazy. So fast.
Ollie's looking around like, is that right? Yeah, apparently that is. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week. We're going to take a... Oh, no. That's not it at all. Oh, no. That comes out in... That's a month from now.
Okay.
Oh, we're gonna be doing a special feature next week. That was actually that we talked about with our patrons.
Yeah, I'll give you something to watch.
So we're gonna start doing this a few times a year. Ollie's gonna pick a movie that I've never seen
on Netflix.
On Netflix, so everyone that has Netflix can watch it also. I don't know what the movie is yet. Ollie's gonna pick a movie that I've never seen that he's seen. I'm gonna have to watch it, and then we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna see how it goes. I have no clue. It could be anything. I jumped ahead. We are gonna talk about Jurassic Park a month from now. That was after the next Westworld episode, so we'll get there. I jumped ahead too much. I apologize.
You should.
Ollie, I apologize to you. I know you're very...
You're forgiven.
And you were very confused as I was saying that. Like,
yeah, I was like,
I guess
sure.
that's it. Like, he sounds awful confident.
Yeah,
that's what he's talking about.
I just assumed.
I didn't know. All right. We're done for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Ollie, thank you very much. You're the best co-host. I love you, buddy.
Love you too, Justin.
All right. We love you guys, too. See you next week.